In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was written in punch cards. Most people think coding is all about Python and JavaScript, clean, readable, and boring. But the history of computing is a graveyard of dead languages. These are the tongues of the digital ancients, languages that once powered nuclear silos, global banking systems, and the first spaceships, only to be abandoned, banned, or forgotten. Welcome back to ByteMe Explained. Today, we're digging up the corpses of the code that time forgot. We're looking at everything from the language that almost caused the global economic collapse to the cursed esoteric languages that were designed to be impossible to read. We start with Algol. In the 1950s, Algol was supposed to be the universal language of science. It was elegant, logical, and technically superior to anything that came before it. But it had one fatal flaw. It was too academic. While IBM was pushing Fortran into the hands of real-world engineers, Algol stayed in the ivory towers of universities. It's dead now, but its DNA is in every single language you use today. It's the Latin of the computer world, a dead language that still dictates how we speak to the machines. Stick around, because we're going from the foundations of Silicon Valley to the most illegal code ever compiled. You can't talk about dead languages without mentioning the zombie of the financial world, Cobol. Created in 1959 by a committee led by the legendary Grace Hopper, Cobol was designed to be English-like so that business executives could theoretically read it. It was a massive success, and for decades, it powered every bank, insurance company, and government agency on the planet. But then, everyone stopped learning it. Cobol became a dead language that refused to stay in the grave. By the time 1999 rolled around, the world realized that the Y2K bug was largely a Cobol problem. Thousands of programmers were pulled out of retirement and paid insane hourly rates just to fix lines of code written 40 years prior. Even today, billions of dollars in daily transactions still flow through Cobol systems that no one under the age of 70 fully understands. It's banned by modern developers because it's verbose, clunky, and terrifying to touch. One wrong semicolon in a 50-year-old Cobol script could literally delete your bank account or crash a state's unemployment system. It's the ultimate cursed code, a language that is technically dead, yet still holds the global economy hostage from beyond the grave. Every time you swipe your credit card, there's a high chance a Cobol ghost is processing that transaction. When NASA was preparing to send the space shuttle into orbit, they realized they couldn't trust normal languages. They needed something that could handle real-time flight control without the risk of a random background process crashing the ship. Enter HAL, S, or the High Order Assembly Language, Shuttle. This wasn't just code, it was a digital life support system. It allowed for multi-dimensional math and had built-in safety features that made it nearly impossible to overwrite critical flight data during a mission. It powered every single space shuttle flight from 1981 to 2011. But here's the digital archaeology twist. HAL S is now effectively extinct. You can't download a HAL S compiler on GitHub. You can't take an online course for it at a coding bootcamp. It was a highly specialized tool for a specific piece of hardware that no longer flies. If we wanted to rebuild the space shuttle software today, we'd have to start almost from scratch because the language itself has died with the machines it controlled. It's a ghost language haunting the Smithsonian, a chilling reminder that in the world of tech, even the most mission-critical tools can vanish into the void once the mission ends. It is the language of the stars, now buried in the dust of history. In the 1980s, Japan launched the 5th-generation computer systems project. Their goal was to build a revolutionary AI-based computer using a language called Prolog. Unlike most languages that tell a computer how to do something, Prolog is a logic language. You tell it what the facts are, and it figures out the rest using a complex system of backtracking and unification. For a moment, Prolog was the most feared language in the West. People thought it would lead to a super AI that would leave Silicon Valley in the dust. But the project ultimately failed to live up to the massive hype. Prolog was too computationally expensive for the hardware of the time, and it was effectively banned from mainstream development as the industry shifted toward more predictable, object-oriented languages like C++. Today, Prolog is a cult language. It's used in niche AI research, natural language processing, and by people who enjoy the digital equivalent of solving a Rubik's Cube with their eyes closed. It is a dead language that represents a future that never fully arrived, a timeline where computers thought in pure, cold logic instead of just following a long list of procedural instructions. It's a brilliant failure that still fascinates the most hardcore computer scientists. This is the dead language that most of you actually remember using. If you played browser games in the 2000s, you were interacting with ActionScript. Built for Adobe Flash, ActionScript was the language of the creative internet. It powered everything from Happy Wheels and Farmville to the original YouTube player. But ActionScript wasn't killed by time, it was executed by a corporate hit job. In 2010, Steve Jobs published his Thoughts on Flash, effectively banning the language from the iPhone. He called it insecure, a battery hog, and a relic of the past. That was the beginning of the end for the Flash ecosystem. By 2020, Adobe officially pulled the plug for good. ActionScript went from being the most popular interactive language on the web to being illegal on modern browsers. If you try to run ActionScript today, your browser will treat it like a dangerous virus and block it instantly. Millions of pieces of art, games, and digital history were wiped out overnight, leaving behind a cursed graveyard of .swf files that can only be opened with specialized, community-made emulators. It's the most tragic lost media event in digital history, a reminder that one man's memo can delete an entire culture of code. This is the dead language that most of you actually remember using. If you played browser games in the 2000s, you were interacting with ActionScript. Built for Adobe Flash, ActionScript was the language of the creative internet. It powered everything from Happy Wheels and Farmville to the original YouTube player. But ActionScript wasn't killed by time, it was executed by a corporate hit job. In 2010, Steve Jobs published his Thoughts on Flash, effectively banning the language from the iPhone. He called it insecure, a battery hog, and a relic of the past. That was the beginning of the end for the Flash ecosystem. By 2020, Adobe officially pulled the plug for good. ActionScript went from being the most popular interactive language on the web to being illegal on modern browsers. If you try to run ActionScript today, your browser will treat it like a dangerous virus and block it instantly. Millions of pieces of art, games, and digital history were wiped out overnight, leaving behind a cursed graveyard of .swf files that can only be opened with specialized, community-made emulators. It's the most tragic lost media event in digital history, a reminder that one man's memo can delete an entire culture of code. Now we enter the realm of the truly cursed. In 1972, two students decided to create a language that was the deliberate opposite of everything else. They called it Intercal. It was designed to be uncopyable and intentionally frustrating for any human to read. For example, the language features a please keyword. If you don't say please in your code enough times, the compiler will reject it for being impolite. But if you say please too many times, it will reject it for being obsequious. It was a parody of the complex bureaucratic languages of the era like Cobol. While Intercal was never meant to be alive in a commercial sense, it spawned a whole movement of esoteric languages or eslangs that are effectively digital art. They are dead because they have no practical use, but they are illegal to any sane programmer's sensibilities. Other examples include brainfuck, which uses only 8 commands, and bfunge, where the code is written in a 2-dimensional grid. Intercal is a reminder that code doesn't always have to be a tool for productivity. Sometimes it can just be a way to annoy and confuse people. It's the Necronomicon of programming a book of spells that only makes sense to the digital madmen. Before there was C, the language that powers almost every operating system on Earth, there was B. Created at Bell Labs in 1969, B was a nuclear language. It was stripped down to the absolute bare essentials to run on the tiny, memory-constrained computers of the late 60s. It was the language used to write the very first versions of Unix, the ancestor of macOS and Linux. But B was cursed by its own extreme limitations. It couldn't handle types. It treated every piece of data like a single machine word. This made it incredibly fast but dangerously unstable as software grew more complex. Eventually, its creator, Dennis Ritchie, realized B needed to evolve to handle the new hardware of the 70s, and he created C. B died almost instantly as the world moved on. Today, B is the missing link of digital evolution. You won't find it running on any modern machine, yet every time you use a smartphone or a laptop, you are using the spiritual ghost of B. It is the true final boss because it is the common ancestor of everything we know in modern computing. Without this dead language, there would be no Windows, no Mac, and no ByteMe Explained. Stay human, stay curious, and subscribe for my poor cat.